In this video, you'll learn what are the different green infrastructure types are and how they look, what functions they provide. The first thing, in this table in the textbook, you can see there are many different types of green infrastructures and which chapter it covers. You should check them out later. We'll go through them in a couple of lectures. So here is the examples of some of the green infrastructures in Los Angeles. As you can see over here, this is a permeable pavements or parking lot where it's not parking lot, permeable pavement. So that infiltrate water through these gaps. And then also this side, these gardens are also green infrastructures because it basically remove that impervious surface and create some kind of grassy surface. This is a planter box. This is near Santa Monica. So you can see that stormwater is coming through the system here and this um, being entered into the systems, and then that basically goes through this series of planter box before it get into a storage tank underground. And these are, so we can classify green infrastructures into two based on the plants or no plants. The first one is non-vegetated, which is very important because many locations vegetation is very simply too hard to maintain. For instance, dry climate like Los Angeles is the case. So non-vegetated green infrastructures will be more popular in those locations. And in other cases, vegetated green infrastructures are more likely the possibility. So here, infiltration basin, as you can see, this is basically a depressed area where water can come in, and this because of and store in these locations, and with time they will infiltrate into ground. For mule payments, thus you saw that this is basically replacing the impervious cementous or asphalt into these permeable pavements. Then other type is cisterns and rain barrel, which has no infiltrations. It's all it does is store water or rainwater or storm water. So cistern, as you can see, the rain barrel is basically taking the rooftop water and getting into the storing in a big containers above grounds. Cistern means a storage device that is underground, so that can be below a parking lot, that can be a huge size, that can be a tank. So you will see across that in many places. Another type of non-vegetated example of non-vegetated green infrastructure is a sand or media filter, which is basically a infiltration basins. So it's the same as infiltrations, but the difference is the soil is replaced with sand. What sand does is has very high infiltration capacity. So that means when the water is stored here, it will quickly infiltrate through that. That means you can remove a lot more pollutants than infiltration basins, because natural soil has very low infiltration capacity compared to the sand. So this is a structural one. You fill the soil and then you collect water at some other locations. The vegetated green infrastructures include biofilters, bioinfiltration systems, or rain garden, or bioretention systems. So these are all same. It's basically a large area with a planted structures. And so imagine this infiltration basin, and you just put a lot of plants there. That is going to be called biofilters or biofiltration systems. In some cases, you replace the soil with different media to increase infiltrations and create a conditions where plants can survive or plants can live longer or survive without minimum irrigations. So that's what we will look at it. This is by far the most popular design. And here you can see there is a corp cut here so that stormwater can get in. And you might see many times bioswale. Bioswale is basically a shallow area near the roads where the stormwater can get into that by just simply draining from the roads. And this is just a planted structure. There is no other things you do other than having that slope and how deep it is. Those are the two designs you can have. Green roof is basically what it means is that having a green space on a rooftop. So you put growth media and put plants, that's become green roof. The complex design associated with it. This is very popular in East Coast where you have enough water so that you don't have to irrigate the roof. But this can also provide insulations for the buildings. And then large scale green infrastructures is wetland. Wetland is something, a large place where the water can store. It's not pond, but it's a much bigger. In fact, you can see green infrastructure at different locations in UCLA. This is the place when I take the students to class and show them a location. So this one is you can call a bioswale, or you can call an infiltration basin or a combination of that. And this is a green roof in bomb shelters, and we are standing on top of it. And below that, what I'm pointing at is a permeable pavements over there. So there are different type of green infrastructures based on functions. So here I'm going to show you some of the examples. Some of them are, let's say, stormwater BMPs, pre-treatment BMP. Again, they may not be green infrastructure. We can call this, that's why it's called BMP or base management practice. For instance, here, this is just a trash capture device. Here you can see there's a inch size pipe of the screen over here. And these screens are designed to capture the leaves so that they don't fall into the pipe and clog them. So this is a pre-treatment pipes, a pre-treatment BMP, so that the only goal is to remove any kind of big trash or large particles or sediments. Here underground, we can see that now all these things that fall into here, the screen is on the top here, and the bottom is basically a pipe network wise underground storm drainage. The key point here is that the inflow is above the outflow. So what that means is water fall in here and then settle the water or settle the particulate so that you can have lots of sediments at the bottom. So this is a sediment capture device. It naturally capture a lot of sediments instead of having those pass through the stormwater pipes. So the key here, the depth of this location determine how much removal of sediments. And here you can see in the biosphere near in that bank area, you have a lot of the tree, and these are not tree. This grass. This is we call filter strip or buffer strip. So what that means, when the water comes in here, any trash will be captured by this grass. So that's why it's called buffer strip. So these are pre-treatments units. And some green infrastructure can remove specifically large amount of sediment. So if the sediment is a big concern, so these are the examples you can have. It's called detention pond or retention pond. Sometimes they are used interchangeably. But if you think of detention is a temporary storage of water. Retention pond is something you can use it for a long time. So there may not be. It's basically it's how long you store it. But again, pond detention, it doesn't matter. It just basically captures storm water. And the size of the ponds determine how much water it can capture. Then you have big wetlands, so these are sedimentation basins. And many other type of infrastructures or BMP is designed for capture and reuse. For instance, here you can see it is a big rain gardens and other things. So as the water comes in from the rooftop, they will pass through the systems and infiltrate through these systems, and then those water can be collected for reuse. And another example is underground systems. You see over here, these are big pipes, and the water from the above parking lots can infiltrate into those grounds, and those water can be reused. So you may see those sometimes below the parking area or the big ground like the surface here. These capture and reuse systems are in fact used in Santa Monica near the pier. The big parking lot over there. Below that is an underground system. So you can see many places there where the water can be stored and used for irrigations. Then another kind is filtration BMP. Filtration BMP is all about water having to pass through a screen or filter media, and that could be infiltration system. That could be a permeable pavements like it's shown here. It could be any other functions. The point here is that water goes in one end and it passes through a media or something, and then it discharges to surface water. So that's why it's called filtrations. Filtration means it passed through a filter. And in many times you will see filtration as infiltrations. The big difference between those is it is a filtration, but the end product here is the water that going into ground. So when it's going inside the ground, it's going to groundwater. That's called infiltrations. And infiltrations, it may be going to surface water. So infiltration basins, infiltration trains, infiltration gallery, all those things are, we can call them as infiltration BMP. Again, infiltration means water. You will not see that water again. They will go into the ground. So that's what I explained here. And the left side is infiltration because arrow mark lead to the ground. There is no way we collect it. Filtration means it's passed through the system, but then the effluent is collected here. So that's the key difference. This is something a lot of times we ask in the quiz. So remember that difference between filtrations and infiltrations. And then when you add plants and other things, it's called bioinfiltrations because now the removal process is related to not just the physical filter media, but also the plants and microbial community. They are also part of the treatments. So anytime you have plants and other things that become bioinfiltration BMP. Bioinfiltration BMP could be vegetable swell, like vegetated swell. Here you see that's basically in the roadside soil that I show you because water goes in here and they can infiltrate ground. And could be also filter strip that I show you as examples.